It's the Welcome Young Men podcast again. This is the second time we recorded, but it's the first time with our whole normal group of Sunday school students here. So to my left, what's your name, young man?
My name's Kenny.
Kenny what?
Kenny Heflin.
Kenny Joseph.
Kenny
Heflin.
Joseph Heflin the third.
The third. Kenny Joseph Heflin the third is in the house. What's your name again?
AJ Cunningham.
And you?
Jace Tripp.
Cruz Wyatt Cunningham, the first.
Bryson Carmen.
And I'm Alex Cunningham. So we're hitting the book of Proverbs. We're going to go through the entire first chapter. But most importantly, what's going on in our lives this week? Cruz, you got anything interesting you want to tell us you've done this week?
I went to go see a play called Guys and Dolls. It was pretty cool.
Where did you see Guys and
I
Dolls?
saw it at Western Brown. It was pretty solid production.
Western Brown High School.
Yeah.
Jace, tell me something you did this week.
Had a basketball tournament.
And?
Finished second.
Second place? It's better than third, right? I'll take it. AJ?
I played a lot of tennis, and I went to the district's wrestling tournament, and Josh qualified for state.
One of your teammates, Josh Graber, so congratulations to him. Mr. Carmen, give us something. What'd you do this week?
What did I do?
Work doesn't count.
Work doesn't count.
Nope.
Played. No. I went bowling with some people
You went bowling?
yesterday.
Did you make any strikes?
No.
No strikes. All right, Kenny, you're up. Something interesting this week.
Played a basketball game against Seven Hills on Tuesday. Lost by 10, and
Basketball season's over for you now.
took an ACT on Wednesday.
Did you
Oh,
win?
that was bad.
Did you do better on the ACT than your 10-point basketball loss?
Let's hope.
I hope so, too. Interesting things for me. It's been very much a basketball-centric week, gentlemen. But last night, outside of basketball, was the father-daughter dance. And it was a pink rodeo, and we had a good time.
I won in poker.
That's great.
What?
All right. Cruz was in the club that helped with that. We are going to go into Proverbs 1. So we're going to start off by reading the whole first chapter. So each of you are going to read 3 verses, and then let's fall back and get some of our thoughts. So Kenny, how about you read the first 3 verses, and then we'll go around the table. 3 verses each. Go for it, Kenny.
The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, to know wisdom and instruction and perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity.
To give subtly to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand the proverb and the interpretations, the words of the wise and their dark sayings.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but the fools despise wisdom and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. For they shall be an ornament of grace upon thy head, and chains about thy neck.
My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us wait for blood. Let luck provide. How do you say that word?
Lurk privily.
Privily, for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit.
We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot amongst us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path.
For their feet run to evil, and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. And they that lay wait for their own blood, they lurk privily for their own lives.
So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners. Therefore, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying,
How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scornings, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded.
But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity, and I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when the distress and anguish cometh upon you.
Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge, and did not choose to fear the Lord. They would none of my counsel. They despised all of my reproof.
Therefore shall they eat the fruit of their own way, and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of fools shall destroy them. But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil.
And that is all of chapter number 1. All right, so now here was the challenge. As we were reading through that, I was hoping that each of you would find a verse in there that either you thought you could add something about or had something to say about it, or maybe had a question about it. I'll open it up. Did anybody find one you want to start with that says that verse was interesting?
I found one.
All right, where are you at, Cruz?
22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? The scorners of delight in their scorning, and the fools hate knowledge.
What do you have to say about that? Do you have a question or a statement?
What does it mean, and the fools hate knowledge?
Fools hate knowledge. Well, does anybody want to give your thoughts before I chime in on it? I think if we put it with the first part of the verse, nobody?
They reject it.
They reject knowledge. I think so.
Stuck in their own ways, not wanting to change.
So it says, how long, ye simple ones? So last week we talked about what it means to be simple, and I kind of attribute this word to stupid.
Yeah.
So it's the folks that are not really willing to seek out wisdom. If you're simple, you're not wise. So it says, how long, ye simple ones, will you love simplicity, and scorners delight in their scorning? You ever heard the expression, ignorance is bliss?
Yeah.
What do you think that means? Jace, you ever heard it?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Do you know what it means?
Pretty much, if you don't know about it, it can't hurt you kind of mentality.
What do you think of ignorance is bliss?
If you don't know, you don't really care about it.
So I'll pick on my niece Logan. You guys know Logan, right?
Chunk.
Chunk ain't care.
Yeah.
Right? She really doesn't care. Is she concerned about her mom's feelings? No. At the basketball game the other night, Libby was coming to the sideline to inbound the basketball, and Chunk and Ellie had to be pulled back from giving Libby hugs because they didn't realize that Libby wasn't walking over there to hug them. It wasn't about them at that moment. But did they care? No, they ain't care. If Kenny, you act the same way as a 17-year-old that Chunk does as a 3-year-old, are you living right?
No, my life would be not very fun.
You'd be a selfish jerk is what you'd be, right? So ignorance is bliss is kind of true in some respects, but as an adult, ignorance is ignorance. Ignorance is not a defense, right? So it's saying, how long are you going to be cool with being simple? Are you happy being stupid? And then it says, and fools hate knowledge. So we'll go to a sports analogy. Kenny, you've probably observed coaches. If a player makes a mistake and a coach gives instruction, what does a good athlete do?
Take the instruction. We'll take it to heart, but don't take it like the coach is coming at you, and apply yourself with it. Don't let it make it feel like you're attacking him. Like a player that wants to get better is going to listen to a coach. A player that doesn't care is just going to let it go in one ear and not the other.
Agree. I think a lot of times coaches probably criticize the best players more. Why do you think that is?
Because they can take it.
Because they know what they're capable of. Want them to be better.
They want them to be better.
Why waste your breath on someone who won't listen?
Yes. In many respects, yes. So it says, scorners delight in their scorning, meaning that they're happy to just do their thing. right? And fools hate knowledge. What do you think coaches think when you give that correction? There's an expression that I've banned from most young people, especially on the.
I know.
Why do you think that makes? Have you heard
they
my
don't,
story on this, Bryson?
No.
What was it?
I don't allow the kids on my team or my children at my home, when I tell them something, to respond with, I know.
I know, yeah.
I know.
I'm telling them.
You know? I thought you don't know, Bryson. Why do we ban I know? Why do you think that grates me so much?
Because they don't know.
Because you
If
don't
they-
know,
If
but
they would have known, then they wouldn't have done it. Or they would have done it.
Right. So here it says, fools hate knowledge. Fools are the ones that don't want that information. Right? Can you imagine being at a gym playing basketball? Because we're in basketball season. Jace, your dad's a North Carolina fan.
mm-hmm.
Can you imagine being at a gym in North Carolina and Michael Jordan walks in? He's a North Carolina Cruz. He plays basketball and he went to the University of North Carolina
He was also a baseball player at one point.
for a little while.
Whoa.
But can you imagine being in a gym and you're shooting around and Michael Jordan happens to walk in and shoot with you, and you're Jace Tripp, star of JV and some varsity at Hillsborough Christian Academy, and you're shooting free throws, and Michael Jordan walks over to you and says, "Young man, you're doing pretty good, but maybe if you just tweak that elbow a little bit and go here and do that," what's going to be your response?
I'm gonna apply it and fix it.
You're going to say, all right, Michael Jordan just told me to do this. But fools hate knowledge. A fool would say, I like doing it this way.
Gosh.
Right?
You said dumb.
But in reality, do we often do that? As you guys are teenagers. Morons.
Morons on this podcast.
Morons, right?
You're done.
You're almost out of the
You're-
moron phase of life. You're almost there.
You're a tween. You're a double moron.
We should have called it.
But how often have you heard someone give you a piece of reasonable advice and you think to yourself, okay, whatever. It happens a lot, right? Even as you get older in life, there's folks that have been around, folks that have wisdom, and sometimes they say something and we say, whatever. That's because fools hate knowledge. Simple men be simple. Are you? If you as an adult embrace the mentality of ignorance is bliss, you will be a man child. You will be a 30-year-old toddler, and much of society is that way. All right, Cruz, you picked a good one. I liked that verse.
Thank you.
Now, because you were first, you get to choose who's next to pick a verse.
I think I should choose the man with the beautiful headphones.
Mr. Kenny Joseph Heflin and
Yes.
Lorelei's headphones. All right, Kenny, which verse did you identify as one that found interest?
Verse 15.
Verse 15. Let's go up there. Kenny, go ahead and read verse 15 for us.
My son, walk not though in the way with them, refrain thy foot from their path.
Okay. What did you find interesting about that verse?
Just don't follow the bad crowd is what I'm kind of getting from it. Like, make your own way. You don't have to step in, follow someone else's way just because they've already done it and it's bad. Like, make your own way, even if it's hard.
Yeah.
Cruz,
Don't be a sheep.
don't be a sheep.
Verse 16 ties in that too.
I need a longer headphone string.
You need a longer headphone string. We can work on that.
It's maxed
Yeah,
out.
AJ's laying on it.
Just bring the whole thing this way a little
yeah.
bit. There you go. We can give you a few inches. So walk not in the way with them. So don't be a sheep. Don't follow along. Why do you think that verse spoke to you? What did you find interesting about it?
I know kind of beginning of last year, I got stuck in a pretty bad spot, and it kind of just stuck out to me. Like, after I wasn't grounded anymore, I was just trying to make a better way for myself and not get caught up with a bad crowd again.
So you got caught up in it. And a lot of people say that in life, I'm just kind of in a rut. What is a rut?
It's like a ditch, right?
A one-way minded set way. I don't know.
Well, to answer the specific question, I think Jace hit it pretty good.
The more you
It's like a
ditch.
ditch.
The harder it is to get out.
You guys remember a few weeks ago we had a whole bunch of snow and ice on the ground, and the roads, it was so built up. Sometimes you'd be driving and your car literally gets pulled down into that part of the way. And some roads, it gets the traffic is so heavy that it literally has ruts in the road, and your car gets pulled into those. So even when you're driving through the mud or you're driving through the snow, even in your car, you have to pull to get up out of that. And then sometimes your front wheels might be off and your back wheels are literally hanging on. And if you think about what Kenny said on that, it says, walk not in the way with them, refrain thy foot from their path. I think that it's harder to get out of a rut than it is to get in a rut.
Yes.
Can you see that, Kenny? How do you think that applies? I'm kind of doing an analogy. Why is it easier to get in a rut than it is out of a rut?
You just got to fall into it. When you get out of it, you have to climb. You can't fall.
I think gravity's working against you. It's more natural to just fall into that rut and follow the path of the people that are in front of you.
Because we're naturally evil and stuff.
It's just, you're fighting your flesh, right? So what's the easier, if you're really thinking in life here, let's apply this one step further. What is easier to do than have to climb out of a rut? Bryson, where do you think I'm going with that?
What's easier?
What's easier than having to climb out of the rut? But that's still a good thing.
Still a good thing? I'm not sure.
Not sure? Jace, you think you know?
Just don't get in a rut.
Don't get in a rut in the first place?
Yeah.
Stay up on the Lord's path. Don't fall.
I was going to say getting towed out.
Yeah, I was going to say getting pulled out too.
Getting pulled out. Sometimes you have to have someone reach down and pull you out, right? Yeah. We see that. But if you can avoid the rut in the first place, it's easier to not make a mess than have to clean one up, right? If you're preemptive and do your best not to allow yourself to fall into the rut. But the other thing that's interesting about that, was there ever a time where you said in your mind, I'm going to fall into a rut?
No, after that, no.
It's usually something that happens gradually, subtly.
You never really plan to go down.
You don't plan it, but getting out of it sometimes can be a more jumped up, a sudden thing. You might have a moment where you say, I'm tired of this, let's fix it. Anything else you want to add to that one, Kenny?
No, that's the one that stuck out to me.
All right. Who's next, Kenny?
We'll go Bryson. I saw his hand up when I stole a spot.
Bryson thinks he's got one. All right, Bryson, where are you at?
Can I be mean and link 3 different verses?
Oh, wow. Well, we'll allow the crowd to decide. Why don't we start at the first one and see where we go from there?
Okay, verse 29.
Verse 29.
Yes, for they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord.
For they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. Boys, we're going to let him have another one?
I think I know what that is.
All right, where are we going now?
Verse 7.
Wow, you're doing a link, not even sequentially?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
It goes back to the beginning, and it says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom, instruction.
All right, and number 3.
It was...
If you're going to take 3 verses, you better have a really strong tie together.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let us down. Where are you at?
33, the end. But whosoever hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from the fear of evil.
All right, you got 3 verses. How you tying them together, Bryson?
Well, it says like the fools they hate knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the beginning it said the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And so to fear the Lord is a good thing. And at the end it says, whoever dwells in me and would fear me will be like safe and not have to fear evil. So I like that. If you just fall in and like dwell in the Lord, then you don't have to fear anything else.
So the story that comes to my mind on this is something that happens when we're driving on vacation pretty frequently. And it's the feeling that you have when you see blue lights in your rear view mirror.
It happened to me once.
You saw blues in your rear view mirror?
Yeah, I got pulled over from my tent one time.
Oh.
For your what?
He was like, how dark
Window
is your
tint.
tent? I was like, you can
got
test
pulled
it.
over?
Yeah, I was like, it's fine. Just
But no, you got pulled
Jace,
over?
Jace, have you been pulled over yet?
No,
No. Have you seen blues in your rearview mirror
not for him.
while you're
Not for
driving?
me.
Not for you. No.
for my dad, yeah.
AJ, have you had blues in your rearview mirror?
His dad's the
No.
pastor.
How about you, Bryson? Have you been pulled over a few times?
Yeah.
Well, I saw Blues once, but that was his mom.
So, oh, that's right. When your mom got the ticket for speeding in a school
Yeah.
zone.
Not speeding.
We have someone in the room off camera. So Bryson, have you ever seen blues in your rearview mirror when you weren't the one being pulled over?
Yes.
So is there a different? So you've been pulled over. Were you ticketed for it?
Yes, sir.
When you saw those blues, did you know what was coming?
Yeah. Like
It didn't come as a surprise.
No.
What was the feeling in your heart to me? It's a literal. You can feel it.
Well, not all of them,
Caught.
but yes, most of them.
Well, there's been many times where
Multiple times.
we'll be driving on vacation and Angie says, "There's a cop," and I'll say, "We're good." And then there are times when she says, "There's a cop," and I'm like,
You know what
It'll
you've
load up.
been doing.
Don't slam on the brake. You look suspicious. That's what my mom told me.
"We're good." And then don't slam on the brake. Don't make your car slam down. And you're looking in that mirror and you're like, "He's still there, still there, still there. We're good."
First, I thought
Right?
you were talking about LED lights, not cops.
But then there's those times where you look in the mirror and you see the blue and you're like, "I'm not worried. I wasn't doing anything wrong."
That's what we were like with mom, and then she got a ticket.
Yeah, because she was speeding in a school zone.
How much was she over?
So
She was 20 under.
So if you look at the last verse, 33, it says, "But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil."
Mm-hmm.
If you're seeking out wisdom and living in the will of God,
Mm-hmm.
should you live nervous, like it's coming to?
No.
Is that the point that I think you're trying to make there with that? You can,
Yeah.
you have peace from that, right?
Right.
I'm not concerned. I'm not breaking the law here. I'm living righteously. I'm quiet from fear of evil. I don't have to worry about it. All right, Bryston, you got two boys across the table. Who's next?
AJ, because he was trying not to look at me at first.
AJ Cunningham. Where are you going?
What? Before I read it, what's reproof
Become a
mean?
teacher.
Reproof.
Yeah.
Reproof is, I would think. Well, do you boys have a similar synonym for him?
Reproof would be like
You can't say reproof.
constructive criticism.
There you go. I was going to say correction. Constructive criticism's good. Coaching, all the above. Kenny, are those shiny studs being affected by Libby's beautiful headphones?
No, my ears are just itchy.
Maybe next time we'll get you some earbuds. What verse are you
I
in,
might bring my
AJ?
beats. I'll go bougie on you
Well,
guys.
I had 22 through 24, but 23 and 24.
23.
Because we already did 20.
Okay.
I thought Bryson took AJ's. That's why AJ was mad.
Okay. So AJ is in verse 23. Go ahead and read it for us.
Turn you at my reproof. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded.
All right. Why did this speak to you, AJ?
Oh, the first one is, if you listen to, for the first part, turn you at my reproof. If you listen to his constructive criticism, because that's what she said reproof was, he'll pour out his spirit into you, like he said right there, and then he'll make his words known unto you, and he'll just talk to you through his word if you listen to him. And then, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. Hold on a minute.
I think
Can I read
go down
25? Yeah.
26 is where it ties together.
I will also laugh at. Can I read 25 and
Sure.
26? But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. And I will also laugh at your
Calamity.
calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. Like when you reject him and everything, and just don't accept his word and stuff, you'll. Can we come back to that?
Nope, you're on your own, brother.
You're there. You started it off. Help him out, Kenny. You think you can help him?
So it's kind of saying like, trying to use the word like, but someone's reaching out, and the person that is needing the help isn't accepting it, but it's obviously like they're reaching out for a reason, and the person's just not accepting it. And he said that they'll mock.
So because AJ's my son, I can tie. This is a great one.
So AJ's like, something's wrong with his car. He may know how to fix it, and he may not. And Uncle Al is like, "Hey, son, do you need help with this?" And AJ's like, "Well, no." And then what if he doesn't tighten the bolt all the way, and something falls off when he's driving?
When AJ was little,
he could be like, "I told you so."
When AJ was little, he referred to himself quite frequently in the third person, and he liked to look at us, and he'd say, AJ do it, AJ's self. AJ do it, AJ's self. And sometimes AJ do it, AJ's self will get himself into a bind, right? You try to help him, and then I don't know what to tell you,
And
buddy.
The door handle falls off the fridge.
You fell.
Tappy tappy. Cruz, you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
So what I think it's saying here is it comes at the end. It says, I'm going to laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. So did I laugh at little toddler AJ when he got himself into a bind?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hardhead, you want to learn a hard lesson? I'm going to enjoy watching you fail. That's what it means here, I think. If you're not going to listen, okay, do your thing, bro. All right, AJ, you get to pick who's next.
Probably Jace.
All right, I think Jace would be a good one for this.
What about Jace?
Yeah.
All right.
I just
Why
said
me?
Jace.
Let's have Jace do it.
Jace Tripp the first.
All right, Jace, where are you at?
Verse 9.
Verse number 9.
For they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. What does the chains about thy neck mean?
Like bling.
It's
Shackles.
jewelry.
Oh,
So
I thought it was like something.
You got something, Bryson?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, it's just to me, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and all that instruction.
Go back to verse 7 and then 8.
You should wear that on you to where it shows, and then you're able to remember that daily.
Okay.
That's how I kind of got it.
You guys, I've worn this ring for 20 plus years.
yeah.
I've worn this ring for over 20 years, right? Why? Why do I wear this ring?
So you don't forget your marriage.
To know that you're married. So you don't forget you're married.
I mean, he jokes, but in many respects, yes.
Oh, I forgot.
This ring,
You're showing pride in your marriage.
not just pride, it is a reminder. It's a symbol of my
taken.
marriage, right? Why do I wear this ring? This is from Morehead State
reminds you.
University.
To show you graduated from college.
Your
It's-
perilous
it's-
days
You
in
won a
college.
Super Bowl.
With only a bachelor's.
It's an indication of something. This says that I did the work to get a bachelor's degree. I went to college, right? And it's saying here with knowledge, if you have the fear of the Lord, the beginning of knowledge, it is going to be so evident in your life that it is going to be like wearing bling. It's going to be an ornament of grace about thy head, like a crown, and chains about thy neck.
Grace bling.
It's wisdom bling.
Oh.
When you really think about it,
You wise man.
if you apply God's word,
Wise guys.
you're going to live a life that's
Guys
obvious. The Wise Guys podcast, we're not doing it because someday we'll be out of Proverbs.
The Morons podcast.
Yeah. 5
I gotta
morons.
leave.
And, so
Wisdom bling by the wise
if
guys.
I think what Solomon is telling him, if you will take and grasp to God's word and get that knowledge and instruction and listen to people, it's going to be as obvious as wearing a big fat gold chain
Like Flava Flav.
that says I got it. Yeah.
Big
Be like the
cheese.
championship belt.
Biggie cheese.
It's not going to be something that they're going to have to look for. It's not going to be hidden. It's not even going to be subtle. It's going to be obvious, right? So we've each hit a verse. I think you guys did well with that,
Hey, you didn't hit a verse.
huh?
Yeah,
you gotta go.
Oh, I don't need to hit a verse.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you
I'm
do.
the host of this
No, he
episode.
doesn't.
Or Andy
All right,
needs to
you
hit
want
one.
me to hit one? Well, then you're going to have to stand by for a minute because I wasn't prepped for that. If I was going to pick one of these verses, I think I'm going to go to 20.
Is that because it's an even number? Or
No, because this one makes sense to me.
But nobody else.
Seeking out the wisdom of God is not a treasure hunt. To read verse 20, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets.
Yeah. It's there.
It's there. You don't have to dig for it. You don't need a treasure map. You don't need a special code. You don't have to be a club member. You don't have to know the secret handshake. If you want wisdom, if you seek out wisdom from God, it's absolutely going to be there for you. You just need to reach out and take it. Don't be like AJ. Jace do it J-self. No, say, you know what? I need some help with it. So that gets us through chapter 1. I think I like this format better than trying to hit every single verse. Do we agree?
I missed
Yes.
something so bad on
We
my
need a
verse.
title of this episode. What's it going to be called?
This episode, it'll be episode 1, Proverbs chapter 1. Unless you've got a thumbnail for
Welcome, Kenny.
it. Some wise guys.
Welcome.
What was the
in
first
Ken-
one? Pilot, and the second
Pilot.
one. Welcome, Kenny.
Wisdom Bling.
Wisdom Bling is a good one, Jace. All right. So this will be
What's the
Yeah.
So you don't think
Wisdom
you're married.
Bling. That's going to be.
We
if
have to
had
come up with more creative episode names. Like
Wisdom Bling is
Wisdom Bling.
Wisdom Bling's good.
Wisdom Bling is a nice name.
We
Maybe we'll take a picture of Jace and see if we can Photoshop a championship belt of wisdom around his neck or something like that.
That one picture.
or
was-
Jace's dad
the
gets
Big E
pulled over.
cheese chain from
Yeah.
Parkland.
Jace's dad got a ticket. All right, next week, prep for next week, boys. Read chapter 2
Jason's dad gets
and
arrested.
see if you can pull
We're doing
in
the same
a
format
couple.
next week.
We'll follow a pretty similar format. Hopefully, you read verse
bring your beats
chapter
next
2.
I don't know if they have a mic. Maybe I'll go. Actually, I can't do AirPods. Beats have a wire.
No, AirPods.
Mic's here.
AirPods will be on too big of a delay. You need a wire.
My Beats have a wire. I could go
Then-
all nice and stuff.
Well, then you go for it. We'll plug you right in there. Anybody else have anything to say before we wrap it up? No?
Forgot the ear pop tarts.
I completely forgot a part of mine.
Do you want to add to it?
Yeah.
All right. What verse were you in?
I was 15, and it was about like getting in the rut.
Okay.
And something like about the rut. Once you're in the rut and you're kind of getting out of it, I was grounded and
Like literally grounded by your mom?
yes.
Okay.
And I appreciated everything so much more. I literally went with my uncle to put out school board signs for like 3 hours, and it was nice because just everything was more enjoyable because I missed it.
Okay. So
I was willing to do a lot more.
you appreciated it more because you were coming out of the rut, you think?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Anybody else? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Until next week.
Until next week, we will be in Proverbs chapter number 2.
That's the way I heard it.
Hey, gentlemen, I'm just going to say it. You're all morons, but you did a good job. Let's do it again next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey.